Hey everyone, we're going to take a look at how to respond to the short answer question or SAQ. Short answer questions, again, measure your proficiency on one of the objectives using writing. You might see one, maybe two of these on an assessment. The prompt for the SAQ is just a list of three questions, A, B, and C, that you have to answer. Sometimes there's a stimulus like a primary or secondary source, and sometimes it's just the three questions. You can answer SAQs in complete sentences, and you can just label A, B, C. Here's the answer to A, here's the answer to B, here's the answer to C. Or you can combine them together in one paragraph if you prefer that. They're scored the same. It's entirely up to you how you want to structure it. SAQs, like all the objectives, are worth 10 points. And the purpose of these questions is to determine your knowledge of historical concepts and how they relate. So an SAQ may ask you to explain some causes and describe some effects, or explain a continuity and describe a change, or make a comparison and then describe a contrast. That's what they're looking for. When you look at SAQ questions, the prompts 90% of the time are either describe or explain. So if an SAQ prompt starts with describe, you want to talk about development and detail. Who, what, where, when. They're looking for factual information to show a knowledge of something. If it starts off explain, they want you to address how or why. So if we take a look here, this is a description of Bartolomé de las Casas. You can pause it to read if you need to. And then this question is answering why he opposed the killing of Native people. It's an explain response. And you'll notice the word because is included in the answer in all caps to make sure that you let the reader know and you know that you're addressing how or why something occurred. Structurally, you can do the three-part response. It looks like this. You just list and answer the three parts of the questions as they're asked. If you prefer a paragraph response, you just combine those together in a paragraph. This is a pretty simple structure for a response. When you're writing the SAQ, just make sure that you label parts A, B, and C, no matter which way you do it, so the reader knows what you're intending to answer in each part. And then if the prompt is saying explain, you do want to include the word because in all caps, both for you and the reader to know that it is there. So let's take a look at a sample SAQ prompt. I went with one that had a stimulus. It has a primary source, a 16th century drawing of Aztec smallpox victims. So the stimulus is intended to get your thinking going about a particular topic. You'll notice that this question is asking you to describe one or event that led to the historical situation. That's a causation question. The next one is asking you to explain one effect, cause and effect, of the situation. And then your third one is asking for another effect, a second effect of, in this case, smallpox coming to the New World. So this is a cause, effect, and it is describe, explain, explain. Detail and description, and then you're going to talk about how and why, how and why. So if we take a look at an SAQ response, I'll give you a second, pause this, and read through the three parts. Okay, now that you're back, remember part one is descriptive. So I'm describing the smallpox epidemic, and I'm saying that it was caused by the Spanish colonizers coming to the New World, and the native people had no resistance to the disease. Pretty straightforward, these SAQ responses. The second one is the historical effect. And you'll notice that I'm just pulling straight from the prompt to start off my sentence. Another historical effect of the smallpox pandemic I mentioned up there is that the Europeans were able to conquer the native people. And I explained that occurred because of the massive death among their leaders and their warriors, which weakened their nations overall. My second effect and my third part to my SAQ is that the smallpox epidemic led to enslaved Africans being brought to the New World. And I went on to explain that that occurred because the Native American labor supply was depleted and the Spanish needed people to do the labor on the plantations and on the encomiendas. So that's what an SAQ response looks like. I personally like these. I think they're very straightforward. As long as you know your objective, you should be able to answer them. I just wanted to show you, these are the exact same answers. They're just in paragraph form. That's what it looks like. Personal preference as a person scoring these and as a person writing these, I like the three-part response. I think it's clearer and it's easier to find the information. But since we're doing paragraphs for everything else, you may just like doing one paragraph responses. And if you do, this is perfectly fine. Again, don't forget to label A, B, and C so where we know where your three parts are and they don't get lost in your paragraph. If you have questions, email or ask your teacher. We'll be glad to discuss it with you. And as always, have a great day.